Alrighty, up next I'd like to introduce Brad Shaw from livepro, who's going to take us through the results of a new chapter into the report, which is knowledge management. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, James. Well, thank you. I'm glad you like my pink jacket, my watermelon jacket. It used to be my favourite until my wife told me it makes me look like an old man. I was really happy because before that I thought it was the grey hair and the craggy face. So apparently it's the jacket. But if you have a look at that photo there, it sort of does reinforce she was right. Although that was 5 or 10 years ago. Anyway, Brad Shaw from livepro. We are a customer experience knowledge management system. This is the first time that knowledge management has been included in the survey. And I'm ashamed of myself. Nobody, when they're setting up a contact centre, thinks, you know what, we've got a telephony system that everybody uses in the office, you can use that. No, you've got to have a proper telephony system. Nobody, when you're setting up a contact centre, says, just hold the phone to your head. We all do that during the call. No, you get your own purpose-built offices, but for some reason, people actually think that it's okay to say, you know what, we've got a knowledge management system that the rest of the company uses, you should use that. The trouble with knowledge management is it's sort of like the word love. It means different things to different people. So if you're a lawyer, you've got time to sit down and review the cases and come up with your arguments. If you're in IT, you've actually got the ability to give somebody a ticket and tell them that you'll call them back. You guys, everybody in the contact centre knows that a knowledge management system actually has to give you the answer at the speed of now. Not the, put up your hand if you're in a contact centre where you can actually think, yeah, my customers would be happy if I just told them to take a ticket and get back to them. You can't. So why is it that management thinks that you guys can have the same knowledge management system as everybody else? So what we have to do is fix that, and these stats will show that. So the contact centre managers were asked, do you have a knowledge management system? 24% said no. 76% said yes, which is really great. 76% said, yes, we have a knowledge management system. I actually don't know what that 24% is doing. If you're working from home and you don't have a buddy to talk to, then I'm not sure how people are actually going to answer what their answer the difficult questions. So then they asked how important it was. 92% said it was really, really important to running my contact centre. Then the questions started to broaden. And we've got a range of answers, but they were grouped into two easily definable groups. And so then we said, what knowledge management system are you currently using? And we grouped the answers into those that were using purpose-built customer experience knowledge management systems. livepro is not the only one. There's a couple of competitors in the room, but purpose-built. Or are you using just a non-purpose-built knowledge management system? And you're going to see some really distinct differences in the responses. But just so that I describe the difference, what a purpose-built customer experience knowledge management system has fast search. It's predictive, and you've got the did you mean, all the things you would expect. It delivers answers, not information. Everybody in this room knows that you deliver, the customers want answers, they don't want information. So a knowledge management system that takes you to a PDF that's got 32 pages is not really suitable to giving a customer an answer. It's suitable to putting them on hold and having to read through it and interpreting it. A purpose-built knowledge management system for contact centres and CX is customer-centric. you guys know exactly what questions are going to be asked and what information needs to be there for you to be able to answer the question. So the systems must be designed around you. You need to be able to have a say in how the answers look, what's the related knowledge. And so purpose-built systems give you a say. And Microsoft learned a long time ago that you can't just give somebody a Word document. You've got to have PowerPoint, you've got to have Excel, you've got to have different ways to deliver different answers and different information. Purpose-built knowledge management systems understand that too. So if you want a short, sharp answer, you've got a short, sharp answer. If you want process guidance, you've got process guidance. If you want other things like a triage, even those urgent things. I mean, emails are not a way to keep people up to date with changes. You've got to actually have something in the system that is better than emails. You cannot have digital transformation and ChatGPT or AI or a coordinated self-serve model if you don't have a governance framework that makes sure that you guys are in charge, that there's specific people in charge of what's published, what everybody can see, whether it's up to date, whether the SME has reviewed it, whether legal has reviewed it, and you've got to have those systems for it to be suitable for you to use. Otherwise, you're guessing whether it's right or not anyway. And it's easy to manage. You don't need to wait for 3 months for IT or somebody to be able to put it onto their list of things to fix. And it gives you relevant dashboards and reporting. So the alternate to that is, as I said, storage of knowledge articles and PDFs. Rarely have governance. They're not built with customer experience in mind, and this experience with search is pretty poor. What I'd like to do is get those people who think they use a purpose-built knowledge management system to stand up for me. It's very late in the afternoon. We're up to slide 136. 4 hours this is going to go for, and it's nearly finished, so I just want the people who think they're using a purpose-built knowledge management system to stand up. Please, go for it. Congratulations. Fantastic. I didn't say sit down, but you can. Simon, Brad said, so you can sit down. That's fantastic news. So you can now go to sleep, because the rest of this presentation is all about how everybody else can go to management and tell them this is the difference between the rubbish you're making us use, expecting us to give great customer satisfaction, expecting us to be able to reduce our AHT, expecting us to minimise induction. There's companies that actually get people to sit in an induction room for 6 weeks to memorise things and then expect them to answer the questions when they get back on the phones, instead of actually just putting it in a knowledge management system. So let's have a look. So rate your satisfaction for current knowledge management system. The light blue is the non-purpose built. Those knowledge management systems that the company said, we've got one, just use that. The dark blue is obviously the ones that the people that stood up, congratulations, all livepro customers. No, they weren't, by the way. That's the satisfaction level. Then we said, you know what, let's just check that. Did you work with have you changed organisations, and for those people who worked in a company that didn't have a purpose-built knowledge management system, that then went to a company that did, how do you rate the two experiences? The light blue, 2.3 out of 5. The dark blue, 4.5 out of 5 in terms of satisfaction. The other way around. So if you used a purpose-built knowledge management system, 4 out of 5 satisfaction, and then had to move to an organisation that didn't have a purpose-built system, a 3. The stats will show that you can't deliver the service that you'd love to deliver. How would you love to just be able to concentrate on engaging with the customer, rather than worrying about trying to find where the answer is or putting them on hold to ask the team leader who wants to be a subject matter expert, but the team leader doesn't need to be a subject matter expert if the answers are right in the system. So here's the satisfaction levels. 95% of purpose-built knowledge management systems, and it's not, I just remind you, it's not just livepro, it's the purpose-built ones. 95% satisfaction, all very satisfied. 60% for the others. How easy is it to administer? No, this is not a surprise. So a system that wasn't built for you is not going to be easy to administer by you. So 90% of those people who have a purpose-built knowledge management system said that it's easy to administer. The scores are a lot less in the non-purpose-built ones. And the final one that I want to just talk about is the most frustrating thing about any sort of system, and that is if it's not working or I need to know how to use it better or that I've got a question, what sort of support can I get? Those systems that your organisation has said, you know what, we've got a knowledge management system, use that, use SharePoint. Everybody else uses that, use it. Well, try and get any sort of support for that. 18% versus 90%. So for those people who didn't get to stand up and have the blood rushing to your brains at slide number 141, congratulations, you can use those stats and go back to your boss and say, you know what, I'm not the only one that's struggling to be able to reduce the AHT. One easy way of making staff engagement improve is to actually give them the tools that's actually going to help. Having somebody work from home and not have the answers at their fingertips, I think has got to be almost abuse. We had a client in the UK. It is. We had a client in the UK that was an outsourcing company. They had a bank as a customer. They had about 240 people on the phones, and then COVID happened. Their knowledge management system was a binder about that big, but the bank said, you can't take that home. 240 people trying to answer questions and they haven't even got anything to help them. That is a recipe for really bad customer service or somebody else's new employee, because I wouldn't like to do it either. James is actually putting his bet on, is it number 3 in race 4 that you're on to now, James? And I'm expecting a great question here from Luke. I've got one more slide. See, my presentation was that boring, even I got bored with it. So the purpose-built CX knowledge management system delivers higher satisfaction for customers, for agents, and guess what? Your boss is going to be pretty happy too if you can reduce AHT. And it actually answers and allows you to answer questions in conversational speed rather than putting people on hold. Luke, what was your question?
Question from Luke. Are you worried that AI will supersede the need for knowledge management systems, given they can provide not just fast answers, but intuitively fast answers before, during, and post-call?
Isn't that a great question? Luke, thank you, and I'll give you the $50 later. There's no way that AI is going to be able to work unless somebody tells them the answer. Do you really think that ChatGPT can be let loose to provide answers on your company's processes, procedures, and products when you actually haven't told them the answer? It can't. And if it does, it's not going to be right. So for any AI or for any chatbot, it needs to get the answer from somewhere. And so you really need to have a system with a framework to make sure it's right. Good customer experience knowledge management systems deliver the answer to the customer, through whatever channel they want to ask it. You only have one set of products, procedures and policies. Just maintain them once and have a system that actually allows you to push them to the website, to the chatbot, to the AI and to the agent. Great question, Luke.
Only time for one more, Brad. What percentage of interactions are the same question that agents can seamlessly answer versus the percentage actually needing a knowledge management system?
You know, a great man once said to me, James, don't speculate. I've no idea, mate.
Okay,
I can't tell you.
Fair enough. You're nothing if not honest. Ladies and gentlemen, thank the man in the pink jacket, Brad from
guys.
LivePro.